During experiment on electromagnetic waves, Hertz notes that sparks occurred more radially in the air gap of transmitter when ultraviolet light was directed at one of the metal wall. Did not follow up this observation, but others did. They soon discovered that the cause was electron emitted when the frequency of light was sufficiently high. This phenomena is known as photoelectric effect, and the emitted electrons are called photoelectrons. So let us see what is photoelectric effect in the laboratory.
This is simple ordinary source, consists of 100-watt ordinary bulb. This is a photocell. Photocell is an evacuated glass or quartz tube. Glass tube if ordinary light is to be used, and quartz tube if ultraviolet light are to be used. Having two electrodes, one is cylindrical, you can clearly see, one is cylindrical electrode and another is this simple cylindrical wire. Cylindrical electrode is made up of some photosensitive material like sodium, zinc or cadmium and is called emitter, whereas this cylindrical wire is made up of copper or aluminium and is called collector. Collector can be given of any potential, positive, zero or negative. This is the power supply. This is the voltage controller. So when we switch on the power supply, you can see some reading, and now we are inserting the filter, red color filter. Now you can see that the current reader changes. Now we are increasing the negative potential. You can see current decreases and finally zero. So this is called stopping potential. So this is called the stopping potential value. This value is stopping potential because current is almost. Now we are changing the polarity and increases the current from zero value, and you can see that with increase in potential difference the current increases and reaches a maximum value. This maximum value of current is called saturated current. In this experiment there are four variables: the photoelectric current, intensity of light, the frequency of light, and the potential difference between cathode and anode. The variable photoelectric current depend upon these three variables: intensity, frequency and the potential difference. First we see the variation of photoelectric current with intensity. So we are keeping the frequency fixed and potential difference fixed. The photocathode is made up of sodium. You can change to zinc, copper, platinum or calcium. We are starting intensity from zero. So you can see that as the intensity increases, the current increases. So thus by keeping the frequency of light and the accelerating potential constant, the intensity varied and the corresponding photoelectric current is measured. A graph between the intensity and the photoelectric current is a straight line. So from the graph we conclude that the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light, or that the number of photoelectron ejected, these electrons ejected, is directly proportional to the intensity of the light, provided the frequency of the incident light is constant. Also it is seen that emission of photoelectron starts taking place immediately when light starts falling on the cathode. That means photoelectric emission is instantaneous. That means there is no time lag. Now we see the variation of current with potential difference. So we are keeping the intensity and frequency constant. Intensity is constant, frequency is constant. Now we are varying the potential. Now we are increasing the potential from 0 to some positive value on the photocathode, as you see in the laboratory experiment. So this is the zero potential. You can see that there is some value of photoelectric current. So frequency and intensity of the incoming radiation is fixed, means we are increasing the potential toward the positive side on the photocathode. You can see that the photocurrent is constant. So this value of the photocurrent is saturated photocurrent, and now we decrease the value of applied potential on the negative side, and you can see that the photocurrent immediately starts decreasing and becomes zero at this value. That means all the incoming electrons which are ejected from the photocathode are not collected at the photoanode. That means the negative potential on the photoanode repel the electrons due to Coulomb repulsion. So this value of the potential is called stopping potential, as you seen in the laboratory experiment. So from this graph we conclude that there exists a definite negative value, no photoelectric current flows. So, and this critical potential is called stopping potential and is quite independent of the intensity of the incident radiation, and this maximum value of current is called the saturated current. These experimental results can be restated in the form of following laws called law of photoelectric. First is, for each substance there is definite frequency called the threshold frequency, such that if light with this frequency fall on the photoelectric, emission just start, but below this frequency the emission of photoelectrons stop, fully irrespective of the fact that whether intensity of light is smaller or greater. The number of photoelectron emitted, that is photoelectric current, depends upon the intensity of light. You can see that as we increase the intensity, the photoelectric current increases, or the number of photoelectron emitted from the photocathode increases. Now we are looking at the highest energy electrons. So the maximum velocity that can be acquired by the photoelectron based entirely on the frequency but not on the intensity of the incident light. So next is the photoelectric effect is instantaneous effect, and finally photoelectric effect is quite independent of the temperature of emitter, showing thereby that it is different from thermonic emission. Special thanks to Dr. Gurjeet Singh and Sardar Ravinder Singh.